Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're gonna enjoy this video and hope you're having a great day. So, did you know that Boba Fett was the best man at a wedding? Now, Boba is the most famous bounty hunter in the galaxy, which is all very impressive, but when you consider his contemporaries included absolute madmen like IG-88 and Bossk. But even though Fett was renowned for his brutal fighting skills, he actually had a soft side. At one point, he was even the best man at a wedding. And not just any wedding. He was the best man at a wedding between Dengar and one of Jabba's blue-skinned slaves, Manaroo. Now, for those of you who don't quite remember the specifics about Dengar, let me remind you. He's one of the strongest bounty hunters in the galaxy, and after he was physically enhanced by a series of different cyborg parts that were surgically implanted into his body, he spent time working for both the Rebels and the Empire. But he's most famous for being one of a small handful of bounty hunters tasked with retrieving Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon. While on the hunt for Solo, Dengar ended up flying to Bespin and touching down on Cloud City. As you probably remember, Boba Fett was already on the planet, waiting with Vader for the arrival of Han, Leia, and Chewie, which was really just a terrible stroke of bad luck. Throughout the entire chase for Solo, Dengar was not only a few steps behind the Corellian smuggler, but a few more behind his fellow bounty hunter, Boba. With his history as a swoop bike racer and the cybernetic implants in his brain that increased his aggression, Dengar was undoubtedly frustrated and enraged that he couldn't stay ahead of his prey. But even though he missed out on capturing Solo, Dengar found something even more valuable in Cloud City: his future wife. While waiting in an entertainment sector of the city, a group of girls came on stage to perform a dance. Dengar thought one of them looked familiar, and after taking a closer look, realized that he knew one. It was Manaroo, a blue-skinned Auruzan he had met on an earlier bounty. Dengar had actually tried to help liberate her people, and perhaps unintentionally, when he executed one of the Imperial officers oppressing her planet. The two shared a brief bond, but Dengar didn't stay with her long. To see Manaroo again here in Cloud City rekindled something in the cold bounty hunter's heart. And then, when Lando came on the loudspeakers and sent out a call that the Imperials had taken over the city, Dengar knew what he had to do. He found Manaroo, rescued her, and fled. The pair shared some passionate moments, and Dengar, a bounty hunter whose true character will always surprise me, kind of does an unexpectedly noble thing, and ended up traveling to Aruza to help liberate the rest of Manaroo's people. I know, good guy Dengar. A bit later, both Dengar and Manaroo jumped to hyperspace and traveled to Tatooine. Boba Fett had already arrived by that time and accepted his payment for capturing Han Solo. While Dengar was figuring out what exactly he wanted to do in the situation, Manaroo went missing. And if you know anything about how Jabba the Hutt treats women, then you can probably guess what happened to her. Just like Leia, Jabba turned Manaroo into one of his dancing girls, a sight that Dengar couldn't stand. He decided to kill Jabba then and there, but not before Boba Fett ratted him out. Enraged, Jabba decided to execute Dengar in the most brutal way possible. He would bind him in the Valley of the Winds and let the 100-mile-per-hour winds carry sand and stone across Dengar's skin until he ultimately died from bleeding out. Literally just dying from sand hitting you. I mean, this is like Vader's worst nightmare. The plan almost worked too, but Dengar was able to break free. While he tried to escape the violent onslaught of sand grains and stones, he felt Manaroo telepathically reach out to him. She had escaped Jabba's palace thanks to Luke's arrival and the chaos that erupted after Jabba died. After healing up a bit, Dengar returned to the site of Jabba's death. While surveying the damage, he spotted a body. Dengar recognized the form of a humanoid man who was covered in burns and nearly dead, but not quite. Dengar brought him aboard the ship, and that man turned out to be Boba Fett. And remember, Fett ratted Dengar out to Jabba, so the Corellian bounty hunter had every right to kill Boba if he wanted to, but instead, the two settled their differences, and in the end, Dengar even asked Fett to become his best man at his wedding. What a beautiful story. I hope we get to see it soon in live action. Hope you guys enjoyed this little lore video. This story actually comes from the 1996 story published by Bantam Spectra, and it's called Payback: The Tale of Dengar. And it was edited by Kevin J. Anderson, who, you might remember, me and Mark did an interview with on Rule of Two. You can find that interview in the link down below in the description, or just type it into YouTube. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this lore vid. Leave a like if you did enjoy it, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you, always.